Last but not least, we are going to get into Warden, uh, the Warden, landlord, slumlord. What are some other adjectives that we can use to describe 50 here?
Jesus, bro.
50 apparently has been lording over Young Buck, who is indebted to him financially for some um, debts going back way back in the day. But I guess the reason why this is trending is because Young Buck is finally in position to pay 50 Cent off and move on. He's no longer indebted to 50 Cent. And 50 being one of the king dingling trolls that he is, made sure to post about the fact that Young Buck is no longer indebted to him because uh, the former G Unit member is now in position to be able to pay 50 Cent the money that he owes him. So this says 50 Cent sends message to Young Buck as he prepares to repay debt. Yesterday, a major update in the ongoing battle between former G Unit bandmates came through by way of all hip hop.
Hey, hang on,
According
bro.
to them,
Okay, now it's going because it had a spinning wheel for the longest, but it's up now.
oh, okay, can you see it now?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So I'll back up. 50 Cent sends message to Young Buck as he prepares to repay debt. Yesterday, a major update in the ongoing battle between former G Unit bandmates came through by way of all hip hop. According to them, Young Buck had collected enough money to pay off the debt he owes 50 Cent. It totals out to $250,000, and it comes from a loan that the G Unit head honcho took out to aid Buck. Speaking of which, the latter had to apply for bankruptcy in 2020 after life hit him hard in 2019. It took the Nashville, Tennessee rapper quite a bit of time to come up with the money. However, things finally seemed to be on the up and up for Buck. Unfortunately, he did not. Unfortunately, he did need to sell a lot of valuable assets to get this done, from jewelry to expensive cars to his catalog. Buck
Hmm.
ultimately had to sacrifice in order to satisfy 50. All of this was able to go for over $1 million. And because of this, he's also able to pay the IRS the $190,000 he owes to them for child support. Now, with this being done, Hip Hop DX says that Buck has no more contractual obligations to 50 Cent. So here's 50 Cent trolling this situation on Instagram. It says, I don't know why they make me go through this part, but I'm going to need that money by Monday. Yeah. After years of going back and forth online and being at an extremely low point in his career, Young Buck can finally find his footing again. However, you know that when it comes to fifth, he's not going to not have the last word. After hearing about this news from All Hip Hop, the Massacre MC reshared the publication's article on his Instagram with a caption, which I just read. So there you go, man. So $190,000 to the IRS on child support, in addition to being indebted to 50 Cent, $250,000. And it's sad, man. He had to sell off expensive jewelry, cars, and his catalog in order to come up with the $1 million+ in order to be able to pay 50 Cent back as well as the IRS. So, what do you make of Young Buck finally being in position to pay off his debtors?
Well, young Buck, he's got a bit of a checkered history, a checkered past, just as a person and with 50. But you know, I'm still happy that he's able to get that monkey off his back, man. Uh, it's definitely a different type of problem to have than mine's when it comes to the bracket he was at. Because these rappers be having stuff, but they still don't have nothing. So for them to say that he had to sell off jewelry and cars, well, the guy had assets, and the assets that he got it from this money that he got from 50. So, or the exposure or the whatever. So in these situations, man, whenever you gotta pay the piper. How good did you come out of that? Is my thing. uh you know Afterwards, how did you use this opportunity? Because at this point you have to really look at these business loans that these people call signing people and giving them advances. You have to look at these business loans as an investment in yourself, not I'm going to ball out. I don't know what Buck did, but I'm sure he did rapper stuff, you know. And if he had to sell chains and cars, you know, notice he ain't say nothing about stocks and bonds. So
No.
he was definitely doing the rapper thing and going the rapper lane. And yeah, I remember there was footage out there before, man, where Buck was basically just crying, like telling 50, man, hey, call the dogs off, man. I'm out here hurting, and 50 didn't want to hear it. And 50 will kick a man while he's down because this is a rewarding moment, I'm sure, for Buck, that he's got that monkey off his back, and for 50 to go, hey, make sure it's in my account. uh, letting the world know that, hey, this chump owed me money for years. I'm glad I'm finally getting it, but make sure it's there. Yeah, we're dealing with a class A, class A hole with fifth. So you talk about trolling. So this dude here, man, he's gonna let it fly. So I do normally get a good laugh out of it, but for stuff like this, I was like, hey, man, because I know how it is to be in debt. So I think a lot of Americans do at this point. And so to get some type of loan institution off your back when you finally cleared the balance, something as high as that too, I'm pretty sure he did some cartwheels. So I'm pretty sure I'm happy. That's for like somebody getting out of jail, to be honest. So in certain contexts, it's like, hey man, it's whatever, but good thing you're home. Depending on who it is, good thing you're home. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so in this situation, for him to get that off his back, yeah, I like that for Young Buck. So, hopefully, he can stay on the straight and narrow, and stay out the way like how he's been staying, and start to make some money for himself. But what are your thoughts, man, on Sir Fifth, trolling Young Buck? But just the prospect of Young Buck owing that much money, like, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
Whew, yeah, that $190,000 IRS debt can't be good on your credit report.
Oh no.
That cannot look good on that credit report, man. Buck is probably in the trenches when it comes to credit, bro. Because that
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. I can't imagine what that does to your credit. Um, I'm glad that I'm glad that he is now in position to move past it for sure. Uh, you know, I believe that a world that has more black rich people than not is a better world. Um, as much as I might talk about these rappers and all of this kind of stuff, or some of the moves that these athletes make in terms of like the women that they date and how that can be costly. At the end of the day, I think the world is a better place the more rich black people there are in it. And so to see a black person be in a position to be in that bracket, and because of decisions that he made and various other ways he was living his life, have that taken away from him, or rather, he didn't really have it taken away from him. He kind of relinquished it himself.
Mhm.
It's sad to see that, and so it is unfortunate. However, I am glad to see or read that he is in a position to finally at least be able to move past the majority of these financial woes. But this to me is a larger referendum on the importance of financial literacy. Um, this is a lesson that is most paramount, in my opinion, to people of color. And I'm not trying to make this a socio-political conversation, but statistically, the majority of people who live below that, you know, prosperous money cut line
Mhm.
are people of are minorities and people of color. And so it's the most important for people within that bracket to understand the importance of sound financial investments and financial literacy.
Mhm.
Like, I would have to imagine that at some point, Buck, despite being indebted to 50, when he was in the peak of his career, had to have been making enough money for himself that if he had the foresight to do so, he could have made some sound financial investments that could have reaped benefits for him into the future. But a lot of us, unfortunately, live in the moment, and we don't necessarily have the foresight to maintain the right kind of financial literacy. So, to me, an individual like Young Buck is a cautionary tale on the importance of not caring as much about instant gratification when it comes to stuff, things that immediately depreciate in value, cars, jewelry, uh, and the importance of embracing things that appreciate in value over time: property, land, houses, and various other strategic investments that you can make if you have a sound financial advisor who can invest you on things coming on the horizon. Like,
Hmm.
I would have loved to have been on the ground floor of something like, Bumble or Slack. Some of these little things that we use every day, Trello. Like, if I had a person who was knowledgeable about this stuff, who could have told me 15 years ago, hey, bro,
Mm.
there's this thing coming down the pike called Slack, and it's really going to impact how people work virtually. You might want to get in and be an investor in Slack. I'd be I might, depending on how many shares of it I bought back then, I might be a
Hmm.
millionaire today,
Hmm.
right? So, like, when you're someone who is making that kind of money to be able to afford someone who has the expertise to kind of help you guide you along your journey of financial literacy, that to me is an invaluable asset. I'm not trying to chastise Buck because you don't know what you don't know. So I'm not really talking directly to Buck. I'm just saying this is an overall referendum on the importance of financial literacy, especially for people who are in that lower socioeconomic tier who stand to benefit the most from being able to make sound financial investments and decisions. And it's all fun and games to be able to make $10,000 and go and get you a Lambo or go to the club and ball out and you know um engage in various habits and behaviors that amount to nothing but depreciable assets. But you're gonna be hurting like Buck, and you don't
Yeah.
want to be dead at the people because what I'm the gratification and the pleasure that you get from engaging in that instant gratification is not as much as the pain that you feel when you are indebted and you didn't make those investments, and now you don't have a pot to piss in because you owe people and you do not have the financial wherewithal to be able to make your own decisions and be your own person. And I'm going to take the peace of mind of knowing that I am not in that situation over the pleasure of the instant gratification of being able to just engage in, you know, the pleasantries of stuff.
Yeah.
And something tells me that Buck was engaging in the pleasantries of stuff.
Oh yeah, he
Uh,
was.
and no matter what I could say about 50, because I got a lot of issues with 50, his entertainment ventures, some of the stuff that he promotes
Yeah.
through his TV shows,
Right.
and how he has the gall, the audacity, he has the unmitigated gall to
Hmm.
suggest that that stuff is authentically representing people from those communities.
Yeah.
Like, I have a real issue with 50 Cent when it comes to stuff like that. Just
Correct.
the gall to say that with a straight face, and he believes it. You got to have a lot of chutzpah to really
Yeah.
believe this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
And so I take issue with 50 Cent when it comes to stuff like that. But one
Correct.
thing that I will give him credit for is, even going back to when he first came on the scene, it looked like he was smart in terms of being able to position his financial interests to be able to continue to make money for him into perpetuity so that
Hmm.
he is never indebted to people in the future. And I got
Correct.
to give him credit for that. And I just hope that most people can take heed and learn from the mistakes that people like Buck make.
Yeah, and well said, man. And this kind of ties into what we were talking about last week when we are just saying that some people just sign on a dotted line. And he had a bar like that too. Man, I used to listen to his first CD all the time.
Yeah.
He said they don't even read the paperwork, just sign on the line. He said that himself. And so yeah, and that's what he got himself caught in the middle of. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can make a bet on yourself, but when you made that bet on yourself, you have to remember the bet is still active. And you have to cash this bet in.
Yeah.
And you can't just roll around and just, like, this is all gravy. So I think for him, man, I think he just got caught up in, like, just being a rapper, man. And guys like 50 prey on guys like Buck.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Facts.
so I'm pretty sure Buck knows this whole, inside out. I bet he can't stand 50, much like a lot of people that did business with him. So, but one thing about 50 is he's gonna take business over everything. Uh, so he's got a little Jay Z in him actually. Uh, now I mean that as a he's
Yeah,
just gonna do business.
right. Yeah,
And if he has to burn a personal bridge in order to do it, then so be it. But he gonna keep Yayo next to him because Yayo is a loyal dog. Yayo ain't going nowhere. So yeah, Yayo ain't going nowhere. But wouldn't be surprised if 50 had to made a business decision to get rid of this guy. Because hey man, I'm really up here now, and you still a little too however you got to do it. So
yeah,
wouldn't be surprised. So Fifth is who he is. I agree with you, man. I don't give him a pass for his music or any of the media he chooses to make. The one thing I will do is laugh at him when he trolls people. So so I think he does interneting well. I think he handles it well, especially for somebody his age. He's really on top of things. So he's used this as an opportunity for more content for himself. And I thought this one was in poor taste. But when you're dealing with 50, that's his whole shtick.
right.
So yeah, if you associate with him, it's either ride or get rolled on. So hey man, but shout out to Buck man for getting that monkey off your back, man. I had payday advance loans back in the day, bro. It was hellacious. So I can only imagine when you 190K in deep with the feds, because at that point your show money getting garnished.
Yeah,
So they come in. So I'm pretty sure at that point, that's when he was like, "Hey, man, I'm not trying to have wages garnish. I might as well get off all these chains and cars." And yeah, bro, you don't need it anyway. So, but yeah, good for him, man. So hopefully he can turn his life around. Hopefully.
yeah. Shouts out to Buck, man. Good luck, bro. You know, I'm with you on that. Hopefully, he can get into something that's not rapping though, because Buck doesn't strike me as the kind of person who knows how to make age appropriate music. So
Nah, he's still talking that talk.
yeah, I know exactly. So maybe he can figure out his next pathway. But it is what it is, man. I never like to see too many of our people indebted in this manner. It really is rough. So
Mm-hmm.
shouts out to Buck in that regard, and good luck to him. I hope he figures it out. Uh, but on that note, another good stream in the books, Conscious Approach, another week, another selection of fantastic topics. We are going to go ahead and close things out. JV
You.
wins, Dogon SS riding with you as always. Check me out on Instagram at JV wins, JVWINS. Check out Conscious Approach on Con Approach, CONAPPROACH. We are also uploading these RSS feeds so that you can listen to the audio on podcast service providers. So be on the lookout for that, man. Until the next stream, until the next video, always remember to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We certainly appreciate the support. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think about the commentary in this or any other video. Remember to think for yourself, and we will see you on the flip side.
Yeah, yeah. And the name is Dogon SS. Skr. And you can find me on Instagram at Dogon_SS and on YouTube at Dogon_SS. Also on TikTok. I be posting videos and things now. Goodness, Chris. I can't believe it. All right. But follow me over there too. All right. Dogon_SS. And as I say on every part, guys, all right, don't be too high, don't be too low. Keep it calm, keep it chill, keep it clear. And don't let anybody get you off your pivot. So until the next time, guys, I'm gonna be like Ray Gun out here and start cutting up a rug. We'll catch you on the flip side.
Shouts out to Ray Gun. All
Oh,
right, y'all. We out of there. Peace.
peace. Go Canes. We here. Go Dolphins. You.
Oh, Ray Gun.
Ray Gun.